إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد. We continue inshallah the book by TIRMIDI rahimahullah, SHAMAIL, الشمائل or شمائل Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So we stopped at hadith number 5. حدثنا محمد بن إسماعيل حدثنا أبو نعيم حدثنا المسعودي عن عثمان بن مسلم بن هرمز عن نافع بن جبير بن مطعم عن علي بن أبي طالب رضي الله عنه قال: لم يكن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم بالطويل ولا بالقصير، شتن الكفين والقدمين، ضخم الرأس، ضخم الكراديس، طويل المسربة، إذا مشى تكفؤا كأنما ينحط من صبب، لم أر قبله ولا بعده مثله. So this hadith is narrated on the authority of Ali radiallahu anhu. He said that he was neither very tall, as we had explained yesterday, nor short. So he was a tall person, but taller than medium. So we can't call him a tall person, we can't call him a short person, but his medium stature, he's of medium stature, but closer to being tall. The soles of both of his feet were fully fleshed. And this quality is praiseworthy for a man, because it denotes strength. It denotes strength in the person's physical body. So he sallallahu had the soles of both of his feet fully fleshed. He had a large head. So every time we talk about wide and large, this is the wideness and the largeness that makes something look good. We're not talking about something very large that becomes ugly. Like, so when we talk about a wide mouth, it doesn't mean that the mouth is very wide to the point that it's going to make the person ugly. So when we talk about large, big, this means perfectness in the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because some people, they have a small mouth, others have big mouths, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave the Prophet ﷺ the most perfect mouth that any person can have. And he had a large head, so his head was not a small head. So of course this also shows you the fact that he was smart alayhi salatu wasalam. And there was a thin line of hair from the chest to the navel. This is a masruba, a thin line of hair from the chest to the navel. When he sallallahu alaihi wasallam walked, it appeared as if he was descending from a high place, because if you're descending from a sloped road, you tend to lean forward so that you can keep your balance. So he sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in the way he walked, he leaned forward as if he was coming down a sloped hill. So this, as we explained yesterday, showed that he had a strong will and a strong personality, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Ali radiallahu anhu says, I did not see anyone like him, neither before him nor after him. That means in his beauty, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in his physical beauty. So this is Ali radiallahu anhu describing to us the best of creation, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the phrase like, I have not seen anyone like him, is primarily for emphasis, because by describing the Prophet ﷺ in this manner, there's really no exaggeration. So Ali radiallahu anhu was not exaggerating when he's saying that, because he was not the only one to say that. Many companions, they described the Prophet ﷺ as the best thing, not a person, best thing they have ever seen. So even comparing the Prophet ﷺ to the moon, to any other beautiful thing that we can see, he ﷺ was more beautiful than anything else that can be beautiful in the universe, because he sallallahu alaihi wasallam was given the best creation by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. حديث number 6. حدثنا سفيان بن وكيع حدثنا أبي عن المسعود بهذا الإسناد نحوه بمعناه. حدثنا أحمد بن عبدة الضبي البصري وعلي بن حجر وأبو جعفر محمد بن حسين وهو ابن أبي حليمة والمعنى واحد. قالوا حدثنا يونس عن عمر بن عبد الله مولى غفرة قال حدثني إبراهيم بن محمد من ولد علي بن أبي طالب قال كان علي رضي الله عنه إذا وصف رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال لم يكن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بالطويل الممغط ولا بالقصير المتردد وكان ربعة من القوم ولم يكن بالجعد القطط ولا بالصبت كان جعدا رجلا ولم يكن بالمطاحن ولا بالمكلثم وكان في وجهه تدوير أبيض مشرب أدعج العينين أهدب الأشفار جليل المشاش والكتد أجرد ذو مسربة شتن الكفين والقدمين إذا مشى تقلع كأنما ينحط من صبب وإذا التفت معا بين كتفيه خاتم النبوة وهو خاتم النبيين أجود الناس صدرا وأصدق الناس لهجة وألينهم عريكة وأكرمهم عشيرة من رآه بديهة هابه ومن خالطه معرفة أحبه يقول ناعته لم أر قبله ولا بعده مثله. قال أبو عيسى سمعت أبا جعفر محمد بن حسين يقول سمعت الأصمعي يقول في تفسير صفة النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم الممغط الذاهب طولا. قال وسمعت أعرابيا يقول في كلامه تمغط في نشابته أي مدها مدا شديدا والمتردد الداخل بعضه في بعض قصرا وأما القطد فالشديد الجعودة والرجل الذي في شعره حجونة أي تثن قليلا وأما المطهم فالبادن كثير اللحم والمكلثم مدور الوجه والمشرب الذي في بياضه حمرة والأدعج شديد سواد العين الأهدب طويل الأشفار والكتد مجتمع الكتفين وهو الكاهل والمصربة هو الشعر الدقيق الذي كأنه قضيب من شعر. Okay. So this hadith is a long hadith, but it describes the Prophet ﷺ in many other aspects. So it is related that Ali anhu described the noble features of the Prophet ﷺ. He used to say Rasulullah ﷺ was neither very tall nor short, but of medium stature among people. His hair was neither very curly nor very straight, but had a slight wave in it. So the hair of the Prophet ﷺ was a straight hair, but it was wavy. So it was not coarse hair, it was a straight hair, but had some waves to it. He did not have a big body, nor a round face, but his face ﷺ was slightly round. So in other words, the face of the Prophet ﷺ was round, but it was not fully round. It was round, but with some elongation to it. Okay, so it's not a long face, not a round face, something in between. And one thing we'll notice that in every description the Prophet ﷺ was described, his features are always middle of the path between the two extremes. Because خير الأمور أوسطها, the best of things is the middle path. So even in his height, he was not very tall. So his face was not 100% round, it was not 100% long. It was somewhere in between. So this is something we'll notice about his creation, and that's the perfect creation. So his face was slightly round, meaning he did not have a fully round face, nor a fully elongated face, but in between the two. Okay, his complexion was white with redness in it. And his eyes were extremely black. So we're talking here about the pupils were extremely black. His eyelashes were long. So this is also another aspect of beauty. The joints of his body, that means the elbows, the knees, were large. This denotes his strength, okay, because the joints are very crucial how a person deals, especially when riding a horse, fighting for the sake of Allah. So this strength actually served him to be one of the best mujahideen for the sake of Allah, since Allah created creation. So the joints of the body were large. Likewise, the portion between the two shoulders was broad and fully fleshed. So between his two shoulders, as we saw yesterday, he had wide shoulders, and the portion in between, which is immediately below the neck, was large and fully fleshed. There was no hair more than normal in his body. Okay, so as we said before, he had this thin line of hair going from his chest all the way to his navel. But on his stomach, on his chest, he did not have hair. Some person may ask why we're learning this. For one simple reason. Actually, two reasons. One reason is that you can't love someone without knowing what he looks like, right? This is number one. Number two, he ﷺ said, whomever has a dream and dreams of me, then he has truly dreamt of me, because shaitan cannot imitate the way I look. But we have sometimes some people, and actually we hear this on TV and stuff. Some people call in and said, I dreamt the Prophet ﷺ came yesterday. He was wearing a suit and a tie and he was shaven. And he told me, tell the ummah this and that. So this person saw shaitan and he's saying this is Rasulullah ﷺ. So if you don't know what the Prophet ﷺ looks like, you may dream of something or someone thinking that it's Rasulullah ﷺ. So we have to know what he looks like, so that in case we see him, and this is a good thing that happens to a lot of people with a lot of faith, is to see the Prophet ﷺ in your dream, especially at times of difficulty, when people are, especially the ummah is going through difficulty. So sometimes when a person dreams of the Prophet ﷺ, his heart becomes at ease, because some people they worry about what's happened to the ummah, others don't really care. But many people worry about what's happened to the ummah. So this sometimes can be a glad tidings. So it's important for us to know what our Prophet ﷺ looked like. So besides places like the arms and legs, he had no major hair. He had a thin line of hair, as we said before. The hands and feet of the Prophet ﷺ were fully fleshed. So again, this showed that he was strong. When he walked, he lifted his legs with vigor. So he did not walk like, a person who's trying to act like he's very decent, very nice. No, he walked like a real man. He worked with vigor. So leaning forward, lifting his legs as if they were stuck to something. So basically, in the way that person walks, tells you a lot about a person's personality, right? So he ﷺ walked with vigor, as if he were descending from a low lying place. When he addressed a person, he turned his whole body towards that person. This is a type of respect. So when you talk to someone, sometimes you're like, yeah, or you just turn your head. There's some type of arrogance or some type of disrespect to the person you're speaking to. So he ﷺ, when he spoke to someone, he would turn his whole body and face the person. Okay, this actually makes the person talking comfortable, because if you're not doing that, a person may think, well, maybe I need to hurry up because maybe I'm bothering the person. So this is a sign of respect that he did, alayhi salam. He would turn his whole body when speaking to someone. Okay. All right. He ﷺ also had the seal of prophethood between his shoulders. Okay, so he ﷺ had the seal of prophethood between his shoulders. It looks like a black mole with some hairs protruding from it. This is what it looks like. Kind of like a quarter, the size of a quarter, and it's black in color. And it has some hairs sticking out from it. And this is one of the reasons why one of the Jew Ahbar, Salam radiallahu anhu, was looking for that sign before becoming a Muslim. So he was trying to look at the seal of prophethood, and Prophet ﷺ figured out that he was trying to look at that, so he let his shoulder off his cover, so that this seal of prophet can be seen, because he ﷺ is described in the Torah and in Injil by these descriptions. But of course, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, the people of the book hide these things from their books so that people don't follow the truth. So he ﷺ had the seal of prophethood. Abdullah bin Salam radiallahu anhu. He's the companion. He was one of the Jew rabbis, and he read the description of the Prophet ﷺ in the Torah, and this is one of the descriptions. So he was trying to see it, and he ﷺ showed it to him. He ﷺ was the most generous and the most truthful. So he was most generous from his heart, because sometimes some people are generous as a means to show off. Right? Some people sometimes are generous so that people can say that they're generous. But he ﷺ was generous genuinely from his heart. So he would give generously, and he loved to do that. He was the most kind-hearted and came from a most noble family. As we know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose Prophet Muhammad ﷺ to be from the best tribes, which is Quraysh. That came from the lineage of Ismail alayhi salam. That came from the lineage of Ibrahim alayhi salam, who is the father of all the prophets that came after him alayhi salam. Because every single prophet that came after Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam is a descendant of Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. So this is one of the qualities that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave Ibrahim alayhi salam as a reward for leaving his family and leaving everything behind for the sake of Allah. And that's why Allah made him an ummah. So he was lonely at a certain point. There were no believers on earth except him and his wife Sarah and his nephew Lut. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewarded him by giving him huge lineage, because as you know, Ismail alayhi salam is one of the children of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Ishaq is also one of the children of Ibrahim alayhi salam, and Ishaq had Yaqub, and Yaqub had 12 children, who are the 12 tribes of the Jews. If you hear the 12 tribes of the children of Israel, each one of these tribes comes from one of the children of Yaqub alayhi salam, who is Israel. Israel is Yaqub. That means Abdullah in their language, and that's why really we shouldn't really like insult Israel because it's Yaqub alayhi salam, and we should not call them the children of Israel. We should call them Jews, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called them Jews after that, because they have gone so far away from the correct path of Yaqub alayhi salam and all the prophets, and did what everyone else is witnessing in the world today and also throughout history. So he sallallahu alaihi wasallam was the most kind-hearted and came from the most noble family. He sallallahu alaihi wasallam had a great personality and dignity, and the person who saw him at first had this feeling of awe. So he would feel awe when he see the Prophet ﷺ, because he had this, he's an awesome person. So any person that meets him, he feels this type of awe. Like, sometimes you feel it with normal people. Sometimes you feel like you can't approach them, you can't talk to them. It's like you're some type of fear or awe, right? So he was like that, alayhi salatu for people that met him for the first time. But once people got to know him, then he was a very excellent companion, and he was the best father for his companions and also for the rest of the ummah. So we will stop here today, inshallah. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and ask. Yes, go ahead.
How should I picture his height?
His height. I really can't give you a measure in meters, but it's not something really I can give you. So, but according to the time, he was not short. So when he stood with his companions, he always looked taller than them, right? So I really want to give you a number, but I would just be speaking out of ignorance, right? Because the scholars never gave like a measure in meters, but just basically it's an impression. When you see a person, do you see this person is tall or this person is short, right? So I can't specify any further. Any other questions? Yes.
What color was his hair?
His hair was black, alayhi salatu salam, and when he died, he had less than 20 pieces of white hair, but he would sometimes put henna to color his hair. Henna is red color with another material that would make it a little darker. So sometimes he would actually color his hair, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The beard, what about it?
How long was it?
It's coming. His beard was very thick, and I wouldn't say it was very long, but it was thick. So basically, the companions knew that he was reading Quran in the Asr and Dhuhr prayer because they saw his beard move. So basically, his beard was able to be seen from behind, but he had a thick beard, and that's why he sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Leave the beards alone. Don't cut them. This is the deeds of the mushriks." There's a lot of hadith and. All the four madahib, they are in agreement that it's haram to shave the beard. Yes, any?
What does it mean for something to be fully fleshed?
Fully fledged. Fully fledged meaning that your body is full but not fat. So muscular but without going into the workout type of thing where your muscles are shown. So a strong body. So not fat, but full body, right? Any other questions? These are good questions, mashallah, today. Go ahead, brother.
The question I want to ask you is, if someone whom I know that is Khair and tells me that I have seen the Prophet in a dream, meaning that you have seen the real Prophet?
He has to describe him to you, and if his description fits the description of the Sahaba, then he has seen the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. Okay. Because it happened throughout history that some scholars would have someone come to them in the dream telling them, I am the Prophet, you have reached a certain level that you can no longer, you don't have to pray anymore. You reach the thing. So he would say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, because if someone comes and tells you don't pray anymore, he sallallahu prayed until he's dead, then you know for a fact this is a shaitan, right? Any other questions? Yes, brother.
How long the hair?
Here, yeah, we saw the yesterday. Different types of length. Sometimes it reached the earlobe. This is called the al-wafra. Sometimes it was called the limma. So his hair would be longer than the earlobe to the point that it actually almost touched his shoulders. And then there is sometimes actually the hair always touched the shoulder, but it was not longer than that. And sometimes when he would travel, he would braid his hair. Yesterday I said 3, but actually four braids. Okay, so there are many hadith. Hani, she said the Prophet ﷺ came to us in Mecca, and he would braid his hair 4 braids. Obviously, because the travel from Medina to Mecca lasts around a month, and then there's not enough water, there's a lot of dirt. So he did that ﷺ, so that his hair does not get dirty. Now we spoke about this yesterday, but it's okay to say it again. Now the scholar said that he braided his hair because this was a normal thing to do with the Arabs back then. This is what the men did. But nowadays, it's only women or people who are not rightly guided that do this. So for you to do it and say the Prophet ﷺ did it, first of all, it's not a sunnah, it's not a ibadah, it was a adah, it was a habit for them. Right? So that's why the scholar said it's best for you not to do these things like braiding, etc. Okay? But as far as leaving the hair long, I think it's okay to do it, because it's not only the people who are misguided that do that. So I'm with the opinion that it's okay for you to leave a long hair if you so choose. But again, don't go beyond the shoulders, because then you enter the zone of imitating women. I don't know, it's best. Any other questions, brother? Yes, go ahead.
The seal of prophet that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Was that for all of the prophets?
That's a good question. If my memory serves me correctly, so I'm not 100% sure, so if I'm wrong, I can be wrong. But the answer is yes, that all prophets had the seal of prophet. But let me double check on that, and tomorrow, inshallah, I will answer you, okay? Because I did look into this a while back, and my memory is really cloudy on the subject, so I want to make sure I give you the right answer.
What is the question? I didn't understand the question. What do you
The seal of prophethood that the Prophet ﷺ had, did all the prophets have it, or only him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam? The seal of prophethood, yeah. So this is something I'll do some research on, and I'll answer you tomorrow, inshallah.
And how about the mustache?
Mustache? He, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in the hadith, he says, shorten the mustache and leave the beards, because the mushriks at the time, not mushriks, look, this is fitrah, all men leave their beards on. I mean, look, the past 100 years, you really can't judge man, woman, etc. They changed everything, right? Right became wrong, wrong became... Abu Lahab had a huge beard, right? Because for the Arabs, it was normal for them to have beards. Not only that, but actually, in the Hanafi madhab, if a person shaves his beard, he's not allowed to give testimony in court. So, but if you look at today's world, are you going to say that every single Muslim is a fasiq? Again, we have to tell the brothers that, look, this is not something that a man should do. I mean, for you to take off your beard, because he sallallahu and all the prophets, and Harun alayhi salam in the Quran, he tells Musa alayhi salam, my brother, don't grab me from the beard, right? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created men with beards and women without beards. So the scholars say it's a major sin to shave the beards, because one of the reasons is that you imitated a woman. So it's as if you're telling Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made a mistake by giving you a beard, right? Also, Aisha then said, glory be to the one who beautified men with beards. So the beard is a beauty for men, right? And actually it impacts the personality of a person. So it should not be taken lightly. Not only that, but in Muslim countries, maybe except Saudi Arabia, all police officers and military must shave their beards so that they never pick up arms against the kuffar. Okay, so they don't come and do these things just without studying. So this is why it's imposed on them to do it, because they know that it has an impact on the way that a person feels. So he ﷺ said to be different from the mushriks, shorten the mustache. Now some scholars, they say that you can shave it, but based on the madahib, etc. Umar radiallahu anhu, used to braid his mustache. So the correct opinion, Allah knows best, is that it's best to not shave it, even the mustache, just shorten it. Okay, and every time it reaches the lips, don't let them reach the lips. Yes, Brother Malik.
Is there any significance with the hair from the chest to the navel?
No, it's just his creation. I mean, men are created differently. Some men, they have hair on their chests, others don't, right? So this is how Allah created him. It's the best way to be, because he's a prophet. But if you have hair, it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you, or that has something to do with other biological things. And yeah. Okay, brothers, jazakumullah khairan for your patience. Subhanakallah wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.